Your body has been sending you signals for weeks now, and you've been trying to explain them away. The exhaustion that doesn't match your activity level, the pressure behind your eyes that no optometrist can diagnose, the way certain foods suddenly feel wrong in your system, like your body is rejecting things it used to tolerate. The sleep patterns that have gone completely sideways. Either you can't stay asleep past 3 a.m., or you're sleeping 12 hours and waking up more tired than when you went to bed. You've probably consulted Dr. Google. Maybe you've actually gone to a doctor. Blood work came back normal. Everything checks out fine on paper. But you know something fundamental has shifted, and here's what most people don't realize. You're not imagining this. Your biology is undergoing a transformation that conventional medicine isn't equipped to measure yet because it's happening at the quantum level of your cellular structure. The Arcturian Council, a collective consciousness that operates as humanity's evolutionary guides, has been communicating this specific message through multiple channels over the past several weeks. Within a 72-hour window that many of you are entering right now, your DNA is moving through a critical phase of what they call crystalline activation. And before you dismiss this as purely metaphysical language, let me show you something that bridges the quantum physics and the lived experience your body is having. When we talk about crystalline DNA, we're not speaking metaphorically about some abstract spiritual concept. We're talking about a measurable shift in how your DNA receives, stores, and transmits information. Your DNA isn't just a biological blueprint. It functions as an antenna, a receiver for photonic light information. Standard biology will tell you that DNA is a double helix made of nucleotides, and that's true as far as the chemical structure goes. But quantum biology reveals something more. DNA exhibits properties of quantum coherence, meaning it can hold multiple states simultaneously and respond to subtle electromagnetic fields. The term crystalline refers to the organizational structure your DNA is moving toward. Think about the difference between water and ice. Same molecular composition, completely different properties. Water flows, ice holds structure, both valid states, different functions. Your DNA has been operating primarily in what we might call a carbon-based density, flexible, adaptive, but limited in its light-holding capacity. The crystalline activation is like introducing a lattice structure that can hold and transmit much higher frequencies of information without degradation. Silicon crystals in computer chips store and process information. Quartz crystals can hold electromagnetic charges. Your DNA, as it becomes more crystalline in its organization, becomes a more sophisticated information processor. This isn't replacing your DNA, it's upgrading its capacity. The double helix is gaining additional harmonic layers, sometimes called the multi-dimensional strands, that exist in quantum superposition around the physical structure. Now here's where the Arcturian perspective becomes relevant. Whether you believe in extraterrestrial consciousness or not, the Arcturian Council describes themselves as a collective from the Arcturus star system, one of the brightest stars visible from Earth, operating in a dimension beyond our physical perception. They claim to have gone through this exact evolutionary transition roughly 4 million years ago in their own civilization. Their role, as they describe it, is not to interfere, but to assist those who are ready to make this quantum leap in consciousness. You don't have to believe in Arcturians specifically to benefit from this information. Think of them as a useful framework, a symbolic representation of higher-order intelligence that understands the mechanics of consciousness evolution. What matters is the accuracy of the information being transmitted, and when you compare what's being channeled from this source with emerging discoveries in quantum biology, epigenetics, and neuroscience, the overlap is striking. The Arcturians emphasize that this activation isn't happening to you. It's happening through your permission at the soul level. This is crucial. Your higher self, the aspect of you that exists beyond this temporal experience, agreed to be here during this particular window of planetary evolution. The physical, you might not remember making this agreement, but your biology is responding to a cosmic alarm clock that was set long before you were born into this body. So, what's actually special about this 72-hour window? This time frame corresponds to a convergence of several factors. First, solar activity. Our sun has been releasing specific coronal mass ejections that carry charged particles to Earth, interacting with our magnetosphere in ways that directly affect human biology. NASA and the Space Weather Prediction Center track these events constantly. And when these solar winds reach Earth, they don't just create auroras, they influence the electromagnetic field that your nervous system operates within. Second, the Schumann resonance, the electromagnetic frequency of Earth's ionosphere, has been showing unprecedented spikes. The baseline used to hover around 7.83 Hz, a frequency that matches the human alpha brainwave state. In recent years, and particularly in recent weeks, monitoring stations have recorded spikes up to 30 to 40 Hz and higher. Your brain and heart are electromagnetic organs. When Earth's base frequency shifts, your biology has to recalibrate. Third, and this is where individual readiness matters, your personal energetic signature has reached a tipping point. Think of it like water reaching 212 degrees Fahrenheit. At 211 degrees, it's just hot water. At 212, it transforms into steam, a completely different state of matter. You've been heating up, energetically speaking, through every choice you've made toward consciousness, every shadow you've integrated, every time you've chosen authenticity over comfort. The 72-hour window is when your system reaches critical mass for the phase transition. This doesn't mean if you miss this window, you've missed your chance. Evolution doesn't work like that. But there are optimal entry points, moments when the cosmic conditions align to support the shift with less resistance. It's like launching a rocket during the ideal atmospheric conditions versus fighting against a storm. Both can work, but one requires significantly more energy. Let's talk about what's actually happening in your cells right now, because this is where the magic stops being abstract and becomes biology. Inside every cell in your body, you have mitochondria, the powerhouses that generate ATP, your cellular fuel. Standard biology teaches that mitochondria convert glucose and oxygen into energy. That's true, but incomplete. Mitochondria also respond to light frequencies. They have photoreceptors. They literally harvest light and convert it into biological energy. During crystalline DNA activation, your mitochondria are upgrading their light processing capacity. They're becoming more efficient at converting photonic information, light frequencies that carry data, into usable cellular energy. This is why so many people report needing less food during activation phases. Your cells are learning to run partially on light. Not metaphorical light, actual electromagnetic frequencies in the visible and invisible spectrum. Your pineal gland, often called the third eye, contains actual crystalline structures, calcite microcrystals that respond to electromagnetic fields. During activation, these crystals are being decalcified and retuned. If you've experienced pressure in the center of your head, that's not a headache. That's your pineal gland restructuring. It's upgrading from receiving basic circadian rhythm information to receiving multidimensional data streams. Your nervous system is also rewiring the myelin sheath around your nerves. The insulation that allows electrical signals to travel is becoming more conductive to higher frequencies. This is why you might be experiencing heightened sensitivity. Sounds seem louder, lights seem brighter, you can feel other people's emotions like they're your own. Your nervous system is literally processing more information per second than it used to, and it hasn't fully adapted yet. It's like upgrading from dial-up internet to fiber optic. The bandwidth is there, but the system is still learning how to manage the increased flow. This brings us to why this is happening now on a planetary scale. Earth itself is going through a magnetic pole shift, not the catastrophic flipping that movies portray, but a gradual weakening and reorganization of the magnetic field. NASA has documented this. The magnetic North Pole has been moving at accelerating speeds. The field strength has decreased by about 10% over the last 170 years. This isn't danger, this is transformation. A weaker magnetic field means less shielding from cosmic radiation, which sounds scary until you understand that cosmic radiation includes information-carrying frequencies. We're receiving more direct solar and galactic data. Our biology, which evolved within Earth's magnetic field, is being exposed to new information streams, and those of us who are energetically ready are using this exposure to evolve. Solar activity has intensified in ways that correlate with spikes in human innovation, social upheaval, and consciousness shifts throughout history. Professor Alexander Chizhevsky documented in the 1920s how solar cycles correlate with significant human events, revolutions, breakthroughs, mass movements. We're currently in solar cycle 25, which began in December 2019. Notice what's happened to collective human consciousness since then. The acceleration, the polarization, the awakening, it's all happening within a context of increased solar influence on our electromagnetic biology. And then there's the Schumann resonance I mentioned earlier. When Earth's base frequency spikes and your brain entrains to that frequency, you're literally operating in a different state of consciousness. Higher Schumann frequencies correspond to gamma brain wave states associated with heightened awareness, transcendent experiences, and the collapse of the subject-object duality. Your brain is being invited to operate at frequencies it rarely accessed before, and this changes everything about how you perceive reality. Now let me walk you through what you're probably experiencing so you can stop thinking something's wrong with you. Extreme fatigue is often the first sign. You're exhausted in a way that sleep doesn't fix, because your body is diverting enormous resources to cellular restructuring. You're essentially running a continuous upgrade in the background while trying to maintain your normal operating system. That takes energy. Sleep disruptions, waking at 3 or 4 a.m. and being unable to fall back asleep. This is actually your body's wisdom. Between 2 and 4 a.m., the veil between dimensions is thinnest. The electromagnetic noise of the day has quieted. Your pineal gland produces maximum melatonin and DMT, and your brain is in optimal receptive mode. Waking during these hours isn't insomnia. It's your system taking advantage of the ideal conditions for receiving downloads and integrating new frequencies. Dietary changes, suddenly craving different foods or being repelled by things you used to love. Your body is becoming more sensitive to the vibrational quality of food, not just the nutritional content. Dense, processed foods carry chaotic electromagnetic signatures that your newly sensitive system can now detect. You're being guided toward foods with higher life force, fresh, vibrant, preferably organic. This isn't a moral judgment about eating, it's practical physics. Your system is learning to run on finer fuel. Physical sensations, tingles, vibrations, electrical currents running through your body, especially up your spine. This is Kundalini energy, yes, but it's also the literal reorganization of your electromagnetic field. Your chakras aren't just spiritual concepts, they're concentrations of nerve ganglia and endocrine glands. As energy moves through these centers more powerfully, you feel it. The vibrations you're experiencing are real electromagnetic pulses as your system recalibrates. Emotional volatility, crying for no reason, sudden rage, overwhelming love, deep grief, all cycling through in the same day. Your emotional body is purging stored trauma and density. Crystalline structures can't hold dense emotional debris, so everything unprocessed is coming up for release. This isn't regression, it's purification. The emotions aren't new, they're old wounds finally being allowed to discharge. Ringing in the ears, tinnitus that comes and goes, sometimes shifting in pitch or switching ears. This is your auditory system adjusting to perceive a wider frequency range. You're starting to hear what was always there but filtered out. Some of what you're hearing is literally the sound of your cells restructuring. Some of it is communication from higher dimensional aspects of yourself and the field you're tuning into. Here's what makes this process difficult. Your ego structure is designed to maintain homeostasis, and right now it's in full panic mode. The ego isn't the enemy, it's the protective mechanism that's kept you alive, helped you navigate social structures, maintained your identity. But the ego operates on known patterns, and what's happening now has no precedent in your personal history. So the ego does what it's designed to do. It creates fear, doubt, and resistance. You might find yourself suddenly questioning everything. Is this real? Am I losing my mind? Should I stop all this spiritual stuff and just be normal? That's ego trying to pull you back to familiar ground. You might experience imposter syndrome. Who am I to think I'm going through some cosmic activation? Other people seem so much more advanced. This too is ego, trying to disqualify you from the experience you're having. The resistance often shows up as self-sabotage. You'll be doing great, making progress, feeling aligned, and then suddenly you'll find yourself binging Netflix for 12 hours, or picking a fight with someone you love, or diving back into an addiction you thought you'd released. This isn't weakness. It's the ego's last-ditch effort to maintain control. The key is to notice it without judgment. The moment you can observe the pattern, you've already created space between your awareness and the pattern, and that space is where freedom lives. Some of you are experiencing what feels like attacks, sudden illnesses, relationship explosions, financial crises, all hitting at once. This isn't the universe punishing you. This is everything misaligned with your new frequency being forced to the surface. It's uncomfortable, but it's functional. You're shedding a reality that can't accompany you into the next octave of your existence. The caterpillar has to dissolve completely before it becomes a butterfly. You're in the dissolution phase and it feels like death because parts of your old identity are dying. They are, that's the point. So here's exactly what to do in the next 72 hours to support rather than sabotage this process. First, prioritize rest over productivity. I know you have obligations, but your body is performing the most important work of your life right now at the cellular level. Give it the resources it needs. Sleep when you're tired, even if it's 2 p.m. Nap, rest, stop apologizing for it. Hydrate intentionally. Water is a crystalline structure. It carries information. Drink clean water and, if possible, set an intention before you drink. Your consciousness affects water's structure. This isn't mysticism. It's been demonstrated by researchers like Dr. Masaru Emoto and validated by material scientists studying water's quantum properties. As you drink, visualize the water supporting your cellular crystallization. Get sunlight on your skin, especially in the early morning and late afternoon. Your skin has photoreceptors. Your cells need direct light information, unfiltered by glass or sunscreen, at least for short periods. 10 to 20 minutes is enough. The sun is the primary driver of this activation. You're a solar-powered being upgrading its solar panels. Give yourself direct access to the source. Move your body gently, not punishing exercise, flowing movement. Walk in nature if possible. Swim, stretch, do yoga, dance alone in your room. Movement helps the energy integrate through your physical structure instead of getting stuck in your mental or emotional bodies. When you move, you're literally redistributing electromagnetic charge through your system. Limit input. This is critical. Turn off the news, minimize social media, reduce consumption of other people's thoughts, opinions, and energies. Your system is hypersensitive right now, and it cannot distinguish between your own processing and the energetic debris of the collective. Create a protective bubble around your field. You're not bypassing the world, you're stabilizing yourself so you can eventually serve the world more effectively. Eat light, eat clean, Eat when genuinely hungry. Your body knows what it needs. Trust it. If you're craving meat, eat meat. You might need grounding. If you're craving only fruit and vegetables, honor that. You're being guided to lighten your density. Don't impose rigid rules. This is about attunement, not discipline. Journal. What's happening? Not for anyone else, for you. Write down the symptoms, the insights, the weird synchronicities, the dreams. But your logical mind is being bypassed right now, and important information is coming through your intuitive channels. Journaling creates a bridge between the non-linear downloads and your linear consciousness. It also serves as evidence later when your rational mind tries to convince you this was all imagination. Spend time in silence. Meditation, if that works for you, but even just sitting quietly, no phone, no music, no podcast, your system is receiving massive amounts of information. Silence creates the space for integration. Think of it like downloading a huge file. If you keep opening other programs, the download slows down or corrupts. Silence is how you give your system full bandwidth for the upgrade. And here's what you need to understand about what changes after this activation moves through you. Your relationship with time will shift. You'll notice synchronicities increasing exponentially. The right book will fall off the shelf exactly when you need it. You'll think of someone, and they'll text you. Seconds later, you'll have a dream that plays out in physical reality the next day. This isn't magic. It's your consciousness beginning to operate in quantum time, where past, present, and future are simultaneous possibilities, and your awareness is learning to navigate that field. Your intuition will become undeniable. That gut feeling you used to second guess will be so clear, so accurate, that you'll stop questioning it. You'll know things without knowing how you know them, and you'll be right. This is your direct access to the quantum field of information coming fully online. Your logical mind will still function, you'll need it, but it will no longer be the sole authority. Your whole being will participate in knowing. Your tolerance for inauthenticity will drop to zero. Relationships that are based on obligation, manipulation, or surface-level pleasantries will become intolerable. This doesn't make you difficult, it makes you aligned. You won't be able to spend time with people who drain you just to be polite. You won't be able to stay in jobs or situations that violate your integrity even if they're comfortable. The crystalline structure doesn't compromise, it conducts truth or it shatters. You're becoming a truth conductor. Your creative capacity will explode. Ideas will flow through you faster than you can implement them. You'll have insights about art, music, writing, business, healing modalities, technological innovations. Whatever your unique expression is, it will amplify. This is because you're accessing the field of infinite creativity directly. You're not creating from the limited personal mind anymore. You're becoming a channel for cosmic creation. Your healing abilities will emerge or intensify. You might find that your hands get hot when you're near someone in pain. You might know what's wrong with someone before they tell you. You might be able to transmute energy in a room just by walking into it. This isn't about becoming a professional healer, though you might. It's about your natural state as a crystalline being. Crystals organize chaotic energy into coherent patterns. That's what you'll do automatically wherever you go. But here's the sobering truth that needs to be said. This activation doesn't make you special. It makes you responsible. You're not better than anyone else going through this. You're not more evolved than those who aren't experiencing it. You're simply on a different timeline, and every timeline is valid. The person who seems completely asleep is playing their role perfectly for their soul's curriculum. Your job isn't to wake them up. Your job is to embody what you're learning so fully that you become living proof of what's possible. This isn't about spiritual superiority. The moment you think you're enlightened and others aren't, you've fallen into the most dangerous trap of the spiritual ego. The activation you're going through is in service to the collective, not your personal aggrandizement. You're becoming a stronger signal tower so that the frequency of awakened consciousness can reach further into the collective field. But a signal tower doesn't boast about the signals it transmits. It simply transmits. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have days where you forget everything you know and react from old patterns. You're going to hurt people unintentionally as you boundary set your way into authenticity. You're going to doubt yourself, question the process, want to quit. That's all part of it. Enlightenment isn't a destination where you arrive perfect and complete. It's a continuous process of expanding, integrating, expanding again. The activation isn't the end, it's a beginning. And here's what the Arcturian Council emphasizes most strongly. You are loved beyond your capacity to comprehend, not because you're special, because you're part of the one infinite consciousness experiencing itself. Your journey, with all its struggles and breakthroughs, is adding information to the cosmic library. Every challenge you face and integrate makes it easier for the next person. Every frequency you embody and stabilize raises the baseline for the collective. You matter not because of what you achieve, but because of what you are, consciousness itself, waking up to its own nature. The 72 hours you're in right now is a window, not a deadline. If you're hearing this message, you're already in the process, whether you feel it intensely or subtly. Trust what your body is telling you. Trust the exhaustion, the sensitivity, the strange symptoms that doctors can't explain. Trust the synchronicities, the downloads, the knowing that comes without logic. Trust that you didn't find this information by accident. The field responds to readiness, and you're ready, or you wouldn't be here. This is your permission slip to rest, to feel, to change, to become something your current identity can't fully imagine yet. The caterpillar doesn't know it's becoming a butterfly. It just follows the instruction encoded in its cells. You have cosmic instruction encoded in your DNA, and it's activating now. Let it. Support it. Stop fighting it. No, the universe doesn't make mistakes, and your presence here, now, in this body on this planet, during this exact moment of collective transformation, that's not random, that's precise. You are exactly where you're meant to be, becoming exactly what you came here to become. The activation is already happening. These words aren't creating it, they're simply helping you recognize and allow what's already in motion. Breathe into it, trust it, and know that you're supported by forces of love and intelligence that have been guiding this process since before you took your first breath in this lifetime. You're not alone. You've never been alone. And what's emerging through you is going to be extraordinary.